There are moments in your life that feel strangely heavy, not because something has gone wrong, but because something invisible has shifted. You walk into a room and forget why. You try to speak your truth, but your throat dries up. You stare at your reflection, searching for something behind your own eyes, something you can't quite name. This isn't confusion, it's not burnout, and it's definitely not just being tired. What you're experiencing is the thinning of the layer between who you were and who you were meant to become. The veil isn't just symbolic, it's an actual energetic membrane, and sometimes it begins to tear. Not with a sound, not with an explosion, but with a subtle internal pull, as if reality itself is asking you, are you ready to see beyond? You're not imagining things. The dreams that feel more vivid, the strange deja vu moments, the electric sensation when you hear certain words or see certain symbols. These are not random. They are the breadcrumbs, laid out not by the universe, but by your own higher design. And right now, more than ever before, that design is activating. Because something is rising. Something ancient. Something that doesn't speak in language, but in energy. And it has one mission, to wake you up. Not with fear, not with force, but through a frequency you've long forgotten and are finally starting to feel again. Welcome to the threshold. The field is stirring, and your soul is listening. You've probably noticed it, the strange sense that time isn't behaving the way it used to. Hours stretch, moments contract, entire days feel like echoes of something you've already lived. This isn't a glitch. It's not your mind playing tricks. It's your field collapsing and expanding at once. A recalibration. The reason you're feeling so off isn't because you're broken. It's because your internal compass is spinning. Not from disorientation, but from the magnetic pull of your truest timeline reasserting itself. You're not being punished, you're being redirected. What you're living through is an energetic compression. A moment when your soul contracts around the false versions of yourself, the masks, the roles, the pleasing, the pretending, and begins to dissolve them. And it hurts. Not because it's wrong, but because your nervous system has memorized the pain of staying asleep. You are not just tired, you are detoxing from illusions. The illusion that you need permission. The illusion that something outside of you will fix this. The illusion that playing small keeps you safe. And the field knows. It's listening to your silent breakdowns. It's observing the way you keep showing up, even when everything inside you screams for escape. The truth is, your resilience isn't weakness. It's alchemy. And right now, that alchemy is being accelerated. There's something sacred happening here. The structures that used to define you, job titles, relationships, identities, roles, they're no longer stable because they were never meant to be. They were placeholders, templates, training grounds for the version of you that's now beginning to surface. You don't need to understand it intellectually. Your cells already do. This is why you've been waking up with strange emotions. This is why music hits you deeper than ever before. This is why your body aches without cause. It's the signal. You are re-entering your field, raw, alive, and finally fully aware. And the field is responding. Let's name what's really happening. You're not exhausted. You're integrating. You're not lost. You're in the in-between. You're not breaking down. You're breaking open. The old energetic grid you once lived in, the one built on reaction, defense, and survival, is no longer holding. It's collapsing in real time. And as it does, you might feel like you're unraveling. But what's really being pulled apart is the lie that you needed to be anything other than exactly what you are. This is a field reset. Your nervous system has been hijacked for most of your life, trained to scan for danger, to conform to roles, to silence intuition in favor of logic, to trade resonance for validation. But something cracked open recently. A moment, a dream, a conversation. Something pierced the veil. And now you can't go back. You've seen too much, felt too deeply, known too clearly. That version of you who knew how to play the part, they're fading. Not because they failed, but because they completed their task. They protected you until you could protect yourself energetically. And here you are, in the space where all timelines converge, in the moment before the moment, in the silence before the shift. This is where the new field builds, not from force, but from coherence. Not from chasing, but from anchoring. You're anchoring a new frequency now, not through effort, but through remembrance. You're remembering what it feels like to be true, not performatively spiritual, not selectively conscious, but radically, unshakably honest with your own being. This is not just awakening, it's return. Return to your origin, return to your field, return to the version of you that doesn't need proof to trust, doesn't need applause to create, doesn't need permission to shine. And yes, there will be resistance, not just from the world, but from within. Your ego, your trauma body, your ancestral coding, they'll all rise, screaming for familiarity. But don't confuse the scream of the past with the truth of the present. You're not falling apart. You're falling back in to you. Your field has been trying to tell you something, but until now, it was drowned out by 1,000 frequencies that weren't yours. Every time you said yes when you meant no. Every time you shrank to keep the peace. Every time you kept silent just to avoid the discomfort of being seen. A signal left your field. A micro collapse. Not of your power, but of your connection to it. Now, those tiny collapses are reversing. You're reclaiming territory, but not through war, through resonance. There's a new current rising in you, and it doesn't speak the language of the old world. It doesn't bargain, argue, or defend. It simply pulses truth through every cell of your body. It's subtle, it's quiet, and yet it's stronger than any noise the external can throw at you. But here's the thing. As your inner field strengthens, everything misaligned will scream louder, like parasites losing grip on a host. Not because you're failing, but because you're finally becoming incompatible with what once drained you. Relationships, roles, responsibilities, even your own thoughts, they may rise in protest. Not to destroy you, but to test the integrity of the field you're anchoring. Will you contract or will you expand? Expansion doesn't mean constant joy. It means constant honesty. It means telling yourself the truth, even when it's inconvenient. It means sitting with discomfort instead of bypassing it with positivity. It means embodying the frequency of the life you claim to want before it arrives. And that's what this moment is. Not a breakdown, but a choosing. You're choosing the real over the familiar. You're choosing alignment over approval. You're choosing your field over their script. And in that choice, reality begins to bend. Not because you demanded it, but because your vibration leaves it no other option. You don't have to make it happen. You just have to stop faking what's not. Because every lie you let fall from your energy, every mask you retire, every old identity you thank and release makes more room for truth to settle in your bones. And that truth is this: you are not tired. You are being recalibrated. You are not confused. You are being stripped of what never belonged. You are not alone. You are surrounded by signals from the field that remember who you really are. Keep going. The shift you're in, it's not just personal, it's planetary. What you're feeling isn't random. It's the tremor of an old timeline disintegrating beneath your feet. And it's not doing so to punish you. It's doing so to free you. But freedom doesn't always feel like lightness. Sometimes it feels like the weight of every illusion collapsing all at once. It feels like grief with no clear source, like sudden clarity followed by confusion, like days of stillness and silence that make no sense to the mind, yet feel sacred to the soul. And it is sacred, because something deeper than understanding is happening here. You're not just letting go of situations, you're letting go of survival patterns, of inherited programming, of vibrational contracts made in fear, scarcity, and guilt. You're unbinding yourself from the collective dream of separation. And as you do, you're awakening not just your consciousness, but your field. This is why your body feels different, why your emotions rise unexpectedly, why your intuition is louder, your tolerance lower, your boundaries sharper. It's not regression, it's integration. The version of you that pretended, overfunctioned, and compromised is dying. And in her place, the real you is emerging, untamed, unfiltered, unafraid. But with this emergence comes a choice. Will you cling to the expired scripts handed down by wounded generations? Or will you become the anomaly, the signal breaker, the one who doesn't just awaken, but rewrites the code? Because here's the secret. The world doesn't shift when you change your thoughts. It shifts when you change your frequency. When you say enough, not just with your mouth, but with your entire being. When your no becomes holy. When your yes becomes sacred. When your presence itself becomes a boundary. You don't have to prove anything anymore. You don't have to fix what was never yours to carry. You just have to stand in the field of who you really are, without flinching. Because when you do that, Reality has to rearrange, not out of obligation, but out of resonance. And that resonance is building now, in you, around you, as you. This isn't the end. It's the beginning of a reality you were always encoded to remember. This isn't just about waking up anymore. It's about what you do once you're awake. The game has changed. You've crossed thresholds that can't be uncrossed. You've seen what cannot be unseen. You've felt the frequency of something truer, and now your soul refuses to settle for less. That ache you feel, that restlessness, it's not because something's wrong with you. It's because something powerful is activating through you. The timelines that matched your former self are crumbling. People, patterns, and places that once felt like home may suddenly feel foreign because they were aligned with a version of you that no longer exists. You're not losing your way. You're losing what kept you from it. And while this terrain may feel unfamiliar, don't mistake that for danger. It's just that you're now navigating through pure signal, no longer through distortion. The veil isn't just thinning, you are stepping beyond it, where manifestation happens at the speed of coherence, where alignment isn't a technique, but a natural state, where your aura becomes your compass and your field becomes your protection. You don't have to shout to be heard anymore. You don't have to convince, prove, or hustle, because when your energy is clean, life bends to match it. So if the world around you seems to be falling apart, let it. That world wasn't built for the truth of who you are now. And the more you allow the false to collapse, the more effortlessly the real will rise. A new earth isn't coming. It's already here, encoded in the way you choose, the way you breathe, the way you be. So, are you still waiting for permission? For a sign? For something out there to confirm what you already feel inside? Here it is. This is your signal, your reminder. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're not lost. You're becoming. And it's happening exactly as it was always meant to. Now breathe. You've arrived.